to see a parallel between them.
So we are going to talk about that.
I'll just tell him how it went for me and everything. I mean, I can talk about that for a minute, but.
All right.
I like it.
I like it. Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show, everyone. My name is Ben. Here to answer your shooting questions. We got no Hopkins today. He's tending to his cat. Or whatever the hell he's doing. I don't know. On deck today, Mr. Nick. It's been a while.
Hey, guys.
Well, for the audience, it's been a while. For us, it hasn't.
Here we are.
Mr. Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
You drinking some ice water tonight?
Having a little bourbon barrel quad.
I don't even know what that is.
It's good stuff.
Bourbon barrel quad?
It's beer that's aged in bourbon barrels.
Oh, okay.
It's good stuff.
I've had one called a Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale or something like that.
That's a pretty good one, yeah.
I enjoy that one.
Can't get it here either. I always have to wait until I go to a match in Kentucky to.
Just have your boy Foley ship it to you.
Yeah.
If you want beer from Kentucky, email president@uspsa.org, and he's shipping out the free samples. You can try that out. One business note. I have to do these like every 2 months, right, Tim?
Yep.
Well, I actually got two things. One, I got this package from Mark 7, and I never opened up the shirt. Like, this is a fucking cool-ass shirt. It's got the little Mark 7 logo on the sleeve, unobtrusive, and then sort of says digital auto drive right there on the shirt, just to let everybody know that they're a peasant, I guess. It's awesome.
And you can wear it in public, and nobody will have a clue that it's shooting related. It'd be great.
Actually, I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, normally I'm wearing around a gay unicorn shirt, but I guess I'll wear that. But anyway, one actual business note: by the time people hear this, it will likely have just come out or be coming out. Dry Fire Reloaded, which is kind of a strange title, but it's the second edition of the Dry Fire training book. It's going to be there. If you have the old book and you're satisfied with it, you don't need this one. But what it does have is new drills, a new organizational structure that makes more sense. It integrates better with the classes, and it has log sheets included in the book.
Oh, shit.
And
I know one person in particular is going to have to buy this instantly.
Right, and one other thing that was changed is now there's like a few white pages have been inserted so that every drill you open up, it has the diagram, the log sheet, and the instructions like on the same page. So you're going to see all that, and it will never be otherwise. So you'll never have to flip back and forth and figure everything out. There will not be a digital version because of the aforementioned log sheets. Right? Maybe.
Nice.
I don't know about never, but I don't have plans to do a digital version because I want people to have the log sheets. Okay, so if that sounds interesting to you, if that wets your willy, if that gets you hard, or wet, as the case may be, depending on the listener, you can order that. It's going to cost you less than a box of factory ammo, but be more useful. So, no, obviously, fuck that. You don't need that. You need a trigger job. That's what you need, right, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides
fags.
P320.
All right, let's get to the questions, because that's what people are here for. Hey, Ben and panel, had a few questions. I took the team's advice episodes back and shot into the berm to get a feel for what the sights do during recoil. Dude, we were fucking with you. No, we weren't. We were being serious. As I've gotten more aware, I noticed that my sights go up and to the right during recoil, then come back down to the left as they settle. This typically causes low left shots when I'm doing things like bill drills. What can I do to help with this? I would think it would have to do with my grip, since I can actually see the sights track and that diagonal movement, but I'm not sure. When watching your sights, does your gun usually track up and down? How about the panel? Tim? So you can't copy anybody else's answer. You got to go first.
No, if he's seeing movement in his sights, especially as he's pressing the trigger, and especially with I would assume he's a right-handed shooter because he's got a low left issue, then probably two symptoms going on. One, he's yanking the hell out of the trigger, which of course, if you're doing a bill drill, there really is no like, okay, this is the trigger control that you use for that. You're just whacking the hell out of that thing. But the other thing, of course, is obviously, yeah, he's not using near enough grip.
So you would say there's two problems going on here. One is a grip issue,
yeah,
and the other one is trigger control.
right,
Okay.
yeah.
Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's on the right track with the grip. I would try experimenting with various, I guess, grip tensioning between my two hands, and in particular, I would try applying more grip pressure with your sport hand, and see if that doesn't help a little bit with tracking straight up and down. One other thing I think may apply here, it's just my own experience in the past, and I'm not trying to turn this into a gear question, but if the frame of the gun, when I shoot guns that are too narrow, I get more sight bounce, and I think it's because like when the frame kind of fits down in here, and I'm a left-handed shooter, obviously, so but if like the frame doesn't kind of reach all the way to like my knuckle bones on my my trigger finger and my thumb, I get a little bit more bounce, I think, with guns like that. So I don't know, if you have an opportunity to do the same exact exercises with some different platforms, you may try that and just see if you see any difference. I think it's one case where the ergonomics of the gun in your specific hand may also play a role, but I also think you're on the right track with the grip as well.
All right, I'm gonna go now. Number one, congratulations for noticing new stuff. Most people don't pay attention when they practice, so it's good that you are and you're learning from it. Okay.
Agreed.
Number one, Brian Enos in his, I don't know, I suppose it's kind of a book that divides people, Practical Shooting Beyond Fundamentals. In that book, he points out that it doesn't really matter how the sights track as long as they consistently kind of do their thing and come back to the same spot. Well, my inclination has always been to agree with that. Like, I can't say that's wrong. Because it doesn't really matter if it tracks, up to the right, up to the left, whatever, as long as it comes back to the same spot, then you're going to be able to shoot quickly. Okay, that having been said, I aesthetically like for my sights to track straight up and down. I mean, it seems to me like I would feel like I'm more balanced if the sights are tracking more or less straight. I just like that. And yes, if you fuck around with your grip tension, the way you're holding the gun, you're going to experience more towards the sights tracking up and down. With them settling down low left, I think you're probably mistaking that for being a grip issue when it's really, the way you're pressing the trigger. All right, that would be what I suppose would be happening. So, like Tim said, two issues. That's the likely culprit. But it's good that you're paying attention. It's good that you're seeing that. And what you might want to do with your shooting is, now that you see what's happening, now put your focus as you're shooting entirely on your hand and your finger pressure. So you feel the way you're pressing the trigger, you feel your way of holding your gun, and focus on that while you're shooting instead of the visual part, because you see that, you understand that. All right, focus on how it feels in your hand, and then watch what happens with the way the gun tracks. And I think you're going to see it change dramatically with how you change your hand pressure. What do you think? Tim, you're nodding your head yes.
Yeah, I like that. I would also, not a lot of people just talk about grip pressure, and just varying levels of tension on the hands as far as how they grip the gun, but also in where you apply those pressures on the hands to the gun as well. So whether that's crushing the gun, between the palms, or I like to think of like sandwiching my strong hand with my support hand through the frame of the gun, like almost like I'm trying to physically squeeze my fingertips through my strong hand and my support hand into the palm of my support hand, like all the way through. So, but again, it's all going to be, is it a finger pressure thing? Is it a palm pressure thing? Is it, kind of a lateral grip, and all those things need to be worked out. And again, the guy's got the right idea with being able to just even shooting into a berm, and it's just focused.
He got the right idea from you.
Yeah, well, he got it from all of us.
No,
but he got the right idea. Got the right idea to focus on what's going on with the gun, and now, just like Ben said, to reiterate that too. Focus not only just what the gun's doing, but how it all feels in your hands. So
Right, and I'll also say I pay attention to this and I experience this stuff when I'm doing that doubles drill, like shooting pairs into a target, like drawing a
yeah,
pair, especially as the ranges start to extend. It's like if I just watch the way the sights track, if they're tracking straight up and down, I'm like, it's looking good. They're all, and I walk up to the target, I know it's going to be centered. And if I see the sight make a trip over, like the front sight bops off to the left a little bit, maybe I couldn't tell exactly when in the firing cycle that happened, but I'm like, I know that I want to walk down there, I'm going to see something over to the left. I just know it. Right? Even if I couldn't tell if that happened right before a shot, right after, or maybe the gun went off when it was over there, maybe not. Like if the sight never goes to a weird spot, you can't hit there.
and that's a funny you brought that drill up again because we've talked about that before.
Yes.
And I've been doing that same drill now a lot, especially just because it's cold. You can go into an indoor range and do that kind of thing. And it's been real eye opening for me as well, especially 20, 25 yards. Like if I see any waver in the sights, it almost calls attention to a bad sight picture or a bad shot call more so than, okay, that looked good. Like when you start to call something bad, I mean, it's immediate. You're like, yep, that didn't even feel right. So, and sure enough, you roll the target back and yep, there's one that's, cutting a CD line or, it's a deep Charlie or something. You're like, yep, that didn't go exactly where I wanted it to
And
go.
you're sitting there, and it's like my brain is in the same place it would be as if I'm shooting into the dirt.
Yep.
I'm not trying to make anything happen or whatever. It's just like, okay, let's just crush the gun, watch the way the sight tracks, and just kind of see what happens. Like I'm just observing it. And then you kind of see something you like, and you're like, oh yeah, baby, keep doing that.
Mm-hmm. That's been awesome.
I'm glad you like it.
I do.
Next question's for Nick.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if there's any feedback from Nick on his dabbling into limited, if that was worth trying a different division to help with different aspects of his game. Nick.
So, for those who may not recall, I shot limited for about...
Fuck them. They got to watch every episode.
Yeah.
You get caught up. There's no recap.
Yeah. I shot limited for about 2.5 months early in the season last year from about... I can't remember exactly when it was, but I went back to production to get ready for production nationals sometime, I guess around June. And my overall opinion is that I probably did not spend enough time shooting limited to form a very valid opinion.
No, just fire from the hip with your first impressions.
Yeah, I can tell you that
shit about you being measured and reasonable. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall I was kind of getting. I felt like I was paying more attention to aggressive movement, which I thought was a positive. I was definitely able to kind of work in that major scoring factor a little bit. By the time I closed up shop limited, I feel like I was shooting faster. And I'll tell you what really sucked. When I went back to production, I could not reload the gun to save my life. So I get used to the one reload per stage and the big gaping mag well, and you put those together, and you don't really dry fire production reloads for a couple months, and it was ugly coming back. So do I think it helped my game within the context of the amount of time I did it and what my goals were for the year? No, I don't. On the whole, I don't think it helped.
What?
So I think I think it would be interesting to maybe.
That's what everybody says. They say, if you need to go faster, you change it. You mean it doesn't just make you better to make gear changes? Holy shit.
I'd like to think I had a little bit more nuanced goals, but do I think it helped my?
That's because you're thinking about it too hard, Nick.
Yeah, I guess, but it didn't make me a better production shooter last year. I can promise you that.
But it made you a classified limited shooter.
No, it didn't.
You didn't get classified?
Nope.
Oh, that was a fucking waste of time then.
I shot 4 classifiers, but 2 of them were duplicate. One of them got tossed. I've only got 3 classifiers on our records.
Son of a bitch.
Still a U. So, but no, I mean, it was fun. You know, I had a good time shooting it. I enjoyed, you know, the change of pace a little bit. I enjoyed focusing on some other different things. I
So
wouldn't
it was
think
basically a circle jerk. Like it was something to do and it felt good, but it didn't really accomplish anything.
it didn't accomplish my goals of making me a better production shooter, in my opinion, or not for the amount of time that I shot. Now, if I had a full season to really focus on that stuff, maybe it'd be different. But yeah,
You know what they say about first impressions, Nick. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah. I don't think it made me better at production last year.
Well, I think that the main issue is that as a lot of people talk about, like, well, you shoot minor, you have to shoot A's, and you never really truly, get to focus on just going fast and kind of letting things go. And it's like, well, like you can in major. And my response to that is
You're
like, well,
supposed to
you
shoot
think everybody?
major too,
I
right?
was gonna say, yeah, everybody that shoots majors shooting is a shitload of A's that they possibly can as well, right? Like it doesn't work the way everybody thinks it does. Like, oh man, you just see Brown and hang them on paper. Yeah, that doesn't work.
And the people are like, well, if I put this dot on my gun, I can shoot better and faster. It's like, yes, you can. You know that everyone else can too, right?
Exactly. Right.
If that doesn't accomplish it, I mean, if you feel better and you think you're having more fun, then you are having more fun. And that's great. Does that make you better?
Just hanging them on Brown, I mean, coming from a minor scoring, that's pretty much what it feels like. Pretty much what it felt like for at least the first month. And I could kind of look, because I shoot club matches against guys I'm very familiar with, obviously. So, by the time 2 months is over with, I could kind of see that, I'm kind of starting to get the hang of this a little bit. I can see how my points in time are kind of
how
coming
about
toward
this?
more where I expected them to be.
If you take gear familiarity or function out of the equation, meaning if a guy trains with his gear to the point where he's familiar with it and it functions properly, if you have a really good shooter change divisions, they don't become bad, right?
I agree.
And if you have a bad shooter change divisions, they do not become good.
Definitely agree with that.
Exactly right.
So what you're saying is it comes
Still
down
gotta
to
put in the
shooting
work.
skill.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But, it's definitely a different pace to the shooting aspect.
Oh, sure.
Like I said, Nick, I agree with what you're saying, but you're thinking about it too hard. As I would think about it too hard. Like, I know that I'd be sitting there thinking, like, no, but I'm focused on a little bit of different stuff and whatever. I've shot with guys that are, familiar and competent in, with multiple sets of gear, and it's like, I watch the same guy who's fantastic shoot, open, or shoot open the day after he shoots production, and it's the same shooter, and it's the same skill level, and all that happened is he goes faster. Or, whatever. Or a guy who's fantastic with open, he shoots production, same shooter. He's the same shooter, nothing really changes with that guy.
I was about to say, I've seen a couple guys where
no, you've seen
not
great.
the case.
You've seen great open shooters shooting production, but it was the same shooter, right? His style, his skills didn't change, did they?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of open guys and a couple of really high-level open guys try to come shoot production. It doesn't always work out, but
that's because the shooter didn't change.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? It's like,
so
okay, well, you shoot 2 or 3 extra shots on a stage with an open gun. Okay, you might have that same scenario with a production gun where you're standing there doing an extra reload now, right? Because you're the same shooter, nothing really changed.
Yeah, to be the guy like you're talking about, if you're going to shoot both, I would say especially probably open to production at a high level, though, you're not going to just do that by accident. I mean, you have to have time with both
sets of gear, of course. But it's once you have the familiarity, nothing, you're the same shooter. Nothing's going to change. That's my opinion. As much as I hate it, I always think even though nothing inherently happens when you change divisions or gear, if you get motivated to practice, for you, I think it's more well, I'm shooting limited and I'm interested and I'm motivated right now, and I'm practicing. So it's not a bad thing at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the
not
change
bad.
of pace was cool. Like I said, there was aspects of it I enjoyed, and I'm not completely, I don't necessarily regret doing it. I just don't think it really accomplished my my goal of being a better production shooter. So
Oh, but well, you had fun.
I did.
All right, next question. Hello, Mr. Stoeger. As you may have heard, I haven't heard this actually, but now I have. Manny Bragg has started hosting weekly matches at a club here in Central Florida. Wednesdays are action steel, Thursdays are USPSA style. What makes these matches unique, and this is just so people listening to this know, this is not unique. This is something that is popular in certain regions, is that they are open all day. Simply show up anytime between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m., pay your money, and shoot 6 stages. The squad sizes are small, the stages are great, and the matches move super fast. The overall experience is so pleasant, I haven't shot a weekend match since these started in November. My question is, does your panel think this is something that more clubs could take example from? With the option of shooting a match any time of day, or ideally any day of the week, lead to more people participating in the sport? What do you think? Nick, what do you think about this? Have you shot a match of this format?
Yes, I have. So my local club does steel challenge in this. I'll call it open squatting format, where the match is set up from, I don't know, like 9 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon or something. You show up any time you want in there, and as long as you got 2 people or more, you form your own squad. You go off, do your own thing at your own pace. It's great. I mean, it works well. Now, the participation level at that match is, I don't know, probably 30, 40 people, I think, on average for the whole day. We have an exploding number of people showing up for our local USPSA matches, and I'm not sure whether it would work. I kind of wish they would try it, just once or twice to see, because I'm curious. The other considerations
What are you
are,
curious
people.
about? What do
Well,
you mean?
I just want to see if you could get through the match faster. Basically, the biggest issue with having a huge number of people at a club match is, of course, it starts to become an all day thing, and it's kind of rapidly moving that direction anyway. But I think the reason they would probably be reluctant to do that is that they would, the people who are just normal members of that club, normally can come out there after the match is over and shoot on the weekends, and if you block off an entire day on the weekend, it kind of cuts in the value for them. But I wish it's something that we could try. I do wish we tried a USPSA match. I'm not sure if it would work or not, but I'd be interested to see if it could.
What do you think, Tim?
I don't know. Where I'm at in Kansas City, we don't have anything like this. So, kind of the closest thing we've got actually is about an hour south, and they still do it like the second Sunday of the month and the fourth Sunday of the month. And the match director there has everything basically all set up the day before. And if you're there at 7:30, 8 a.m. at 8:15, if you've got 6 guys, that's okay. You got a squad, go out there and start shooting. Pick a stage to start on and shoot 8 stages. And man, I mean, you can be done by noon. And then for me, that's an hour and a half back in the car.
It's actually kind of the same thing.
Right, but as far as but through the week, I like that idea. I mean, I do like that. It's like, especially if you come down, we'll have 5 or 6 guys come from Kansas City, and everybody will kind of carpool together and head down, shoot all the stages, and turn around and come back home, maybe back in Kansas City by 2:30 in the afternoon, which is very nice. As far as throughout the weekday, I don't know. For people that have regular 9-to-5 jobs, that might be a little difficult, but I guess if you could schedule around that, or I don't know, do something like that. I do like the idea, just because you can just move quickly through everything.
Yeah.
But I didn't know they did anything like that throughout the week, like on some clubs do that like on weekdays.
I think I was shooting from the hip a little bit from this, but not really as I think about it. This is a more common scenario in a for-profit situation.
Okay.
Right? So this gets more dudes. So if you have the match director making, I don't know that Manny's situation is for profit or not. I don't not about that him specifically. I don't know, but generally, I've seen this at for profit matches, which I like for profit matches. Don't get me wrong, I like that setup because you have a dude like they can make use of the range during that time. One guy sets everything up, and it's open. Basically, it's open as long as possible to get as many. This is designed to get as many people as possible in there. And in some clubs, some situations, it runs really fast because, like, let's say you want to get in there and get out early. If you are there at, right away in the morning, 8 o'clock, like you said, Tim, the guys say, "Hey, go out there and go shooting." I know some clubs, it's like 8 a.m. You can show up and start shooting, and you might be out of there by 9:30. But if you show up at like 10 or 11, you could be jammed up for a long time. It could be. I mean, when obviously there's a big swell of people. I think this format is fine. It's fine for club matches. I don't think like as on the net of more people coming to try and participate in the sport. I don't know about that. Probably not. I don't think it really makes a difference for people that already shoot if they like the format. I will say this: if I were match director for a day, I would not run this format at my club. And the reason I wouldn't is there's a higher proportion of fuckery going on. I know that's
I agree.
I know that's a little bit rude to say, but
No, I totally
if you get a squad of like 3 dudes out there, who the fuck knows? Like what's going on?
Right.
Yeah.
There is some fuckery. So I would not do this at major matches for sure. I wouldn't run it at my club matches. I would shoot a club that's doing it fine, but shenanigans. You gotta watch out for that.
You'd have to have an entire squad of extremely accountable dudes to hold each other to that level of accountability.
Well, and it's not. I don't think it's even people being malicious. It's just like, you know how it is. If you're in a squad of like 15 dudes.
Oh yeah.
Then
somebody's gonna know the rule. They're watching everything.
Well, yeah. So, somebody does something or something happens, and it's like, well, what do we do here? Is it a reshoot? And it's like, no, like 8 dudes who know the rules just saw what happened. No, It's not a reshoot.
Right.
Versus there's like 3 buddies there, and it's like something happens, and the guy's like, "Well, I think that's just like a reshoot." It's like, oh, okay, it's not like flagrant cheating. It's just
or even like if you get 3 or 4 dudes that maybe are not super at a level yet that are.
Let me just say,
the next thing you know, like before they even make ready, the dude's already pulling his gun out and loading it while some guy's down range. They're just to me they're. Yeah,
at virtually every club that runs this format, I have heard shenanigans feedback from the guys shooting it.
Yeah.
Even a friend of mine gave a friend of his a reshoot at a match, for just because he fucked the stage up because he didn't have time to walk it. He said, reshoot. Is that fair to other people? No.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing? No. So I don't like the shenanigans situation with this. I don't trust it. Just saying. Thought I'd put that out there.
Yeah, and that kind of goes without saying too. On the there really wasn't a shooter meeting or something in the morning to kind of go over like what the start positions on each of the stages were. So you got one squad was like, "Oh, you mean you guys started that with your hands at sides? Man, we shot that. We shot that with our wrist above shoulders and the gun unloaded."
We cut that out and we just deal with that stuff, man. We sort it out with video later. We're like, "Hey, you guys started with the port open. It was supposed to be closed."
Yeah.
There's a few guys like Nick knows the guys I'm talking about where you see these guys' behavior at major matches, and I'm just like, this guy must get away with murder at his club matches. Like, what the fuck? Why is he acting like he's acting crazy? I mean, you're never getting that call. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
I have shot a couple of IDPA majors a while back that used this open squatting format, and it was, they had like fixed ROs, so that aspect of shenanigans I don't think were any more than
No, with fixed ROs I can't imagine anything changing.
But it did get they did end up with a log jam on like 1 or 2 stages at the end of the day, for whatever reason people were putting them off or they took longer to run or whatever. So I don't know.
Well, this
due to that, I don't like it at a major, but
this format's kind of like traffic in it's like if you live in a heavily populated area where the traffic forecast is part of your day. It's like if you know the right time of day that you're gonna breeze right through there. If you get caught in rush hour on the wrong street, like you are fucked.
Yeah.
So this format pretty much guarantees that some people at some times are going to get jammed up hard, but the people who show up at the right times breeze right through there. That's that's pretty much how it lays out.
Yeah, our steel match probably is not heavily enough populated to where that's a problem. That's probably why they do it. But I'm not saying it would work. I'd just like to see if it could work. Just because our local matches are.
What do you mean by work?
So popular. Work is in, what you're talking about. Like, can you get through in 2 hours instead of
the time you're gonna
6.
You're gonna show up there at 7:30 and you'll be ready to roll by 8. And other dumb motherfuckers will show up at 11, and they'll be there till 7 or whatever.
Yeah, they're probably hosting that case.
Yeah, there's some clubs that's like you can start at, I think it's like 8:30 to noon. It's like you can't start after noon, or something like that. It's just like by adjusting the times you get it so that everybody will get through there by dark or whatever. If you play around with the times, yes, you can make this work.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. It's just shenanigans.
I think that shenanigans would be a problem.
What's that?
I hadn't really thought about that, but I think that the shenanigans would be a problem.
There will be more shenanigans with this format. I can guarantee it.
You're going to have squads with like 0 people that are even remotely qualified to hold a timer.
You'll have squads with 3 people on them.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that can be annoying is since there's no squad structure, it's like you might be on a stage shooting it with your 4-person squad or whatever, and there's other dudes just kind of roll in there and they're like walking through and like trying to figure out the layout of the thing because there's not like a defined walkthrough period. So they're up there reading the description, like asking like, hey, what's this over here and what's going on over there, and they're walking through the thing and you're trying to run people through it, which can be annoying, I think.
Yeah.
Not a huge deal, but can be annoying.
And all this stuff is a lot less of a problem with Steel Challenge, and maybe that's why they do it this way.
Yeah, no, well that and it's like they know where the stage is and where it goes, and
yeah,
there you go. Well, all right, another bang up show, guys. I thought it was amazing, especially you, Nick. I like having you here.
Well, I'm glad.
Me too.
Glad to be
Tim's
back.
okay too, but
Good
I like
to see your smiling face, Tim. Yeah.
Hey, listener people, if you have any shooting questions you'd like the answer to, if you want to hear about the shenanigans and the fuckery, go to bensteger.com, send me your email. Tim will tell you all about it. Right?
Won't I ever?